Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I just want to follow up a little bit on my last video with the China stuff because I found out a few more things. I want to give you some links so that you can read the articles because they have to do with what was going on, and I also want to make it clear, and I'm not sure that I did it in the previous video, but when Pompeo was talking, if you watch the whole thing, he was talking about China having a list basically of the governors knowing who would be easy to sway and who wouldn't. And so I think he was really putting out there kind of a message to the governors saying, hey folks, look, we know who you are. We know who's messing around with China and who isn't. So that was just my impression when I watched it. And I wanted to make sure that I clarified it. Sometimes I get off, and I kind of got off on a rabbit trail with the languages, and it is about languages. That's kind of the cover story. But the real story is what's happening underneath and what it's being used to do. The language program is just a facade, and they're really using it to manipulate our people. And especially, think about it, are you wondering why so many of our college students are starting to get into this communist, socialist mentality? Well, could it be some influences like this? Very probably. So I just wanted to, clarify that and put that in there since I did seem to miss it in the other video. I wanted to also point out the 1,000 Talents program, which was something that was mentioned. And this is a program by China really to steal away the best experts. They use the word recruit, leading international experts in scientific research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. So they're trying to get those. I mean, this is what they call it. They're just trying to get the best ones, and they're going to award them. But you know what? They're not going to come after me because I don't fit. Look at this. Below 55 years of age, for people below 55 years of age, and for those below 40 years of age. I'm too old. Oh, man. So, yep, China, no sense coming after me. Anyway, I'll leave this down below. You can read the whole article. Kind of interesting on that. And then this one, we were talking about governors messing around with China. Now, I've got a question. I'm not really positive on this, but can states, governors, can they negotiate foreign deals with other countries? I thought that was really just something that the federal government could do. I'm not too sure if states and regular state governors can do that. So just a question I have. Really just a question. And this was from 2017, by the way. Illinois governor expects to expand trade investment with China. So just kind of wondering what the deal is there and what's going on. And so I thought I'd leave that article for you to read too. And then this one, this is number of professors allegedly in cahoots with communist China quickly mounts. And so, they're collecting them, and there's more and more all the time. In recent months, U.S. authorities have discovered Chinese operatives scheming to compromise American interests through the university system, including plots to steal missile technology and cancer research. Yi Yanqing used to be a student at Boston University until she chose to flee the country last month. The reason for her departure, an FBI investigation regarding her position as a lieutenant in the Chinese People's Liberation Army, according to the Washington Times. And so, according to investigators, Yi was taking orders to gather intelligence from, quote, senior leaders of the PLA while conducting research at Boston University, according to the Washington Times. In addition to committing espionage, she also failed to disclose her position as an active duty PLA officer, earning her charges of visa fraud, in addition to charges of acting as a foreign government agent, making false statements to investigators, and conspiracy. Yep. And so I thought you would want to see that. And then this one is from the Epoch Times. And this is how and why pro-China communists took over Durham, North Carolina. Huge implications for 2020. Really good article you might want to read. It has to do with the Liberation Road group. And they've insinuated their supporters and allies into several key positions in the city government of Durham, North Carolina. See, this is what Pompeo was talking about. Local And this is city government right there. Liberation Road has been highly influential in flipping neighboring Virginia from a Republican to a Democratic state. North Carolina is the next target. So, good article. I'll leave that. So, it's a commentary. So, I'll leave that down below for you. And then this doesn't have to do with China, but I found it and I thought it would be something you might be interested in. Steve Scalise said, I've seen classified information showing people ought to go to jail over Durham investigation. And this came out, I think he was on, he was on Hannity. And he said this. So if you didn't get a chance to see that, yes, Steve Scalise said that he has seen the documentation. See, this is the problem. A lot of our congressmen have actually seen the documentation that shows what really happened, but they can't say anything about it because they're not allowed to, because they're classified documents. So, yes, there are still dirty cops in Washington undermining the president's agenda. We know that. And he said, I've seen some classified information I can't go into, but I can say this, hopefully Durham names names. I think the Attorney General is waiting to see what comes out of that, and then hopefully they go after those people and put them in jail. And Scalise assured the public that Durham's report will exonerate 99% of FBI rank and file employees who are good people at an important agency. So it was the top level that was doing this, and most of them are gone, but there's still probably a few left. And that's the deal. They're trying to get them out. And so it's going to happen, folks. You just got to keep remembering it hasn't happened yet because there are so very many of them. And it's like, if you're going to try to get rid of an infestation of rats, you don't want to pick them off one at a time. It's a very slow process, and you can miss a lot of them because when you're picking off one, the others are scurrying away. Well, if you encircle them, then you can get them all at the same time and you make sure that none of them escape. And that's basically what's going to happen. So hang in there, folks. It's coming. Then I wanted to point this out to you. Now, I don't know if your senator does this or not. One of my senators is Mike Braun, and he has this thing called staff mobile office hours. And what they do is they have this mobile staff or something. They go around to different places in the state and they'll meet with people. Now, it's not him, he's busy in Washington, but yeah, so they have like office hours in different places. If you're in Indiana, then you can check this out. I'll put the link down below, but if you've got, your own senator, you can find the pages of your own senators and check them out. Now, I didn't even check Young's yet, so I don't know if he has the same thing or not, but I thought it was interesting. It's under Contact Mike and then mobile office hours. So anyway, I got that, but the reason that I pointed this out is because this mobile staff is going to be very close to me tomorrow, and I'm going to see if I can make it there to talk to them because I want to know if they can help me discern what this particular document is saying, and if I can find out more information, if they can show me how to find out more information about this. And the reason is because this is part of the Congressional record from back in November of 2019, and these are expenditures from official foreign travel. All right. Now, I've talked about these before, and, it's pretty much self-explanatory what it is. Okay, so this is report of expenditures for official foreign travel, delegation to Liberia, Ethiopia, Kenya, and the Gambia, expended between October 7th and October 14th. And so you can see their names and everything. So most of this is pretty self-explanatory. It's not a big deal. And the numbers, for the most part, again, not out of line for this part, going to these locations. This is their travel expense, I think. No, this is their per diem. Over here is travel. Since they didn't have anything here, usually that means this little 3 means that they were traveling by military transport. So that wasn't considered in the cost. Anyway, so you see them, okay, a lot of money. A lot of money goes for these foreign trips, folks. And this one right here is a report of expenditures for official foreign travel, Committee on Agriculture, House of Representatives, expended between July 1st and September 30th. And again, you go through and it has the different numbers, although some of them have, see this category here, it says other purposes. And again, it might be pretty small on your particular device. Sorry about that, but if I do it bigger, then you can't see it all. Anyway, so under other purposes, most of them are blank. And if you looked at these, they were all blank. See, it's all blank along there. But then when we get into this one, there's some expenses. Now, I'm not too awful concerned, I guess, if they're there for several days and there's $300 expenses, even $500. I don't know. I guess that's not too bad. Some of these are much smaller. I don't know what they're for, though, and I would kind of like to know. But those I'm not so concerned about. What I am concerned about, though, is when I get down to this, and this is, let's see, Committee on Education and Labor, and it was expended between July 1st and September 30th. And then we get down here, and, oh, I'm sorry, no, this is a Committee on Energy and Commerce, is what it is, between July 1st and September 30th of 2019. Okay, so we start going through here, and you see they're all blank until you get down here. And this is under Honorable Frank Pallone, or Pallone, I assume it's Pallone Jr. Okay, he's a Democrat, and he went to 3 places, France, Italy, and Morocco. He was in France from 7/27 to 7/29. He was then in Italy from 7/29 to 8/3, which is about a week. And then Monaco 8/3 to 8/5. Look at this is the per diem. So I assume that's for their lodging and food for each day, or for the days. So that's how much he had for that. But what really gets me is over here in this other category. He had over $12,000 in France, $52,000 in Italy, and $6,000 in Morocco. You know, what's going on here? That's a lot of money, especially this $52,000 thing. And to put it under a category that says other expenditures, what? What did that go for? And I want to know if Braun's people can tell me what that went for and how I can find out why the guy was there in the first place. I would like to know why they're taking all these stinking trips, because the majority of the people that I'm looking through and finding their names on here are the Democrats. And they always take a huge big bunch of staff and everything. So I really want to know what they're doing on these trips, how these trips go, how can I find out more about these trips? Where were they? What were they doing? Why were they there? I want to know, and I especially want to know what in the world the $52,000 went for, because $52,000 is more than I make in 5 years. I want to know, okay? So, yeah, and if you add this up, it's like $70,000. Where did that go? One guy. What in the world was he doing? Out of this 77,000 here, he had 70,000. I mean, this is like for one trip here, folks. One trip. Okay? So I just want them to go through this with me, and I want to make sure I'm reading it correctly. And I also want to know if there's any way I can find out what these expenditures are and the purpose for their trip. Okay? So that's what I'm going to ask them when I see them tomorrow. Hopefully I get to see them, if my health holds up. It's been really a challenge lately, guys. The long days watching hearings and everything are really starting to catch up with me, and the post-exertional malaise is kicking my butt. So I spent pretty much all day today in bed, and that's why this is as short as it is. So that's what I've got for you on this one. I hope there was something in there that was interesting to you, but I'll have most of my energy back tomorrow, I hope. And maybe by then I'll have the information and I can share it with you, okay? And I'll know exactly what this $52,000 went for. All right? We will do that. So I'll let you know one way or the other. Anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.